Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you some hardcore rave stabs recreated on the V-Synth. They all use the Alpha Juno waveforms with some additional processing added, and as always there'll be some familiar riffs along the way in a sample pack on Patreon. Let's get started. So we'll start off with Technophobia. And if we do a bit of noodling, we can get So let me give you a bit of insight into this sound. So I'll strip it right back. And if we edit this and take that down. So we start off with the Juno waveform, which is very simple, sounds like that, and then we add a bit of pulse width modulation using an LFO. And on oscillator 2, I'm just adding a simple sine wave just to prop up the bottom of the sound. Now we add some effects, a bit of chorus. And I've got, I think, a little bit of distortion, a delay, and a bit more chorus. Now the secret ingredient to this one, if we go to here, I have got a peak filter, so I'll add back the reverb. So this peak filter is really just kind of pushing the mid-range out a little bit. And if we start sweeping the cutoff, we get that nice filter effect on it. So next I've got this one, HC. So this is a very similar idea, but instead of using the Alpha Juno waveform, I'm just using a standard square wave which is pulse modulated. So we get this kind of So this was quite popular with Scott Brown, these types of sounds, so I think he did. So next, again, very similar to the previous, just a bit of different EQ, and we get this Juno rave. And this one. So this is like a pitch down hoover. And if we octave stack this one, we can start getting Now I'll show you another cool effect on this. So if we take off the pitch envelope, on the V-Synth we have this, and the oscillators, we've got this flat effect. So listen to this. So that's a pretty cool modification. I believe it does something similar to pulse width modulation. It affects the wave in a different way, but stretches it out and gives you these kind of detuned undertones. So cool sound. So next. So this is using a square wave pulse width modulation, a lot of chorus, bit of flanger on it. So I'm in Renoise now, and I've taken a load of samples of the V-Synth. So we've got various things, including a lot of sounds that weren't in that previous part. So we've got stuff like some basses. To even some stuff like this. And yeah, this from the V-Synth demo. And yeah, a few other things in there. But what I really want to show you is my effects chain and how to bring some of these sounds to life. So if I go to this DJ Energy No Filter Chorus C3 and we have a little look at the waveform, we've got a very simple alpha Juno sound. Now, no filter, no chorus, no effects on this at all. It's a raw waveform. So everything I've removed from the V-Synth, I'm going to add it back in the DAW. to bring this sound to life. So let me show you the effects chain here. So first of all, I've got a very simple reverb in here. This is the Tone Boosters reverb. With these old school sounds, I don't think you want a really posh reverb, but this one, it's quite good without being over the top. So I use this one quite a lot. The next thing I have is just an EQ. Now this is taking about 200 Hertz, it's just knocking a little bit off that frequency range, the muddy frequency range, because these sampled Alpha Juno sounds, they can, you know, they can be a bit muddy. So that's just doing a little cut to get rid of that frequency. We've got another EQ here, and this is our peak filter, like we were doing in the V-Synth. So again, very simple mid-range push to sort of bring out the grit of that Hoover sound. And back in the day, you could do this stuff on an analog desk as well with your sweepable mids. And I'm quite sure a lot of the producers, as they were recording, they were just, you know, meddling with that sweepable mids on the desk. So I'll switch that on for just now. So our raw sound here, I will add a typical Hoover pitch effect. So we can go into modulation, we want to go into pitch, and then drag on just a simple envelope. So we get So if I go back to my effects chain, there's one missing ingredient, and that is the chorus. So in Alpha Juno, the chorus plays a huge part to achieving that Hoover sound. And the closest chorus I can find to the Alpha Juno one is actually in this Serum FX. So if you listen to this, so very authentic. And if you look at Serum's effects here, it's actually the hyperdimension stuff I'm using, not the chorus at all. So this hyperdimension, I've got the rate on full belt to unison up to 7, and it gives us almost a Juno 2 chorus. And down the bottom I've just got a little filter, and if I'm making any kind of Serum presets, I always just put this filter at the end. It sort of calms that high end a little bit, but also gives, you know, a bit more bottom end to the sound as well. It's maybe not totally obvious here, but so we've gone from a very simple basic waveform to adding that pitch slide in to getting our chorus in, and of course we can put on the peak filter. To get that nice filter effect on the Hoover. So what else have we got here? I've got this HC, no filter, C3. So and we'll take that into our effects chain. Now I'll find this sound in the browser here. So I've sampled these sounds at different octaves, and this isn't really about multi-sampling. It's about capturing the different nuances you get from the Hoover type Alpha Juno sounds as you go down the octaves. So for example, if I'm on the C3 one here, now if I go to C2, but then I bring it up an octave, I'm matching the same pitch, but I've sampled lower and I'm playing higher, and you can sort of hear the difference in the sound. It's starting to get a bit more unstable. If we go to C1, it's even more unstable. But this was something that was done quite a lot in Alpha Juno. You sampled different parts of the keyboard, you just transposed it inside the sampler, and you got all these different nuances going. So finally, I'm going to leave you with this sound, this gnarly. We're going to go a bit mental on our effects chain. So I'll take off the peak, I'll put on this Serum FX, and I've got this, it's just a guitar stomp box done by Waves. And so we've got, and I'll start this beat going. So that's all. Catch you next video.